Welcome, welcome, welcome to Garnetqueentarot, where we are inspired to rise. How are my wonderful Libras doing today? How's your energy? Are you into your soul today? Are you following your intuition today? You know our routine before we even go into our sacred realm. Welcome, everyone. We always do our little relaxation and clearing. So you have to inhale and exhale twice and then shake it off, so we could start our reading fresh. I clear my side, you clear your side. Messages are heard. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Shake it off, shake it off. Let's dive in. Focus on what it is you're feeling. Focus on what you want. Manifest the feeling into seeing yourself embracing what you're seeking. Spirit, speak to us on behalf of our Libras. Help them to release any tension that has built up. Help them to ask the questions to help them resolve issues they may have. What is our soul energy? Let's see. Hope everybody is doing great. Ooh, happy Sunday. It's the beginning of a new week. It's when you're resolving any concerns you may have. Breathe. This is a great day. The sun is shining. It's just so much positive energy. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Here we go. Judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges to face. And it's the start of a new week. You have cleared out a lot of negativity. And you're starting to develop and work on yourself, Libra. This is a time of transformational change. And judgment comes. You have to weigh your pros and cons. You listen to other people. And they're letting you know whichever journey, path you choose, you're going to face obstacles and challenges. All of us have our own to deal with. And a lot of times it's unique because we're unique. So an issue or problem someone may have over here does not mean you're going to have it as well. You may have a different journey. Let me give you an example. And this is where judgment comes, because you have to look at everything head on. Let it, embed in your mind, imprint like. And then you can see the direction that you're choosing to go toward. Now, an example is like if you decided you want to apply at this school. That's where your heart lies. That's where you see yourself growing. But this school here has all the little extra amenities that you need. They even give you a laptop. They do this, they do that. And you're indecisive right now as far as which route is the best route for you to take. So now what you do is you make up your mind that this is my journey. This is the path that I'm choosing for myself because of this, and that. You decided to make a judgment call. You weighed your pros and cons. You looked at everything from every angle and every perspective. And even though you may not get this, and this at this school is beneficial to you. You can see yourself walking down the aisle with you, holding your diploma, going on the stage and receiving it. That's when you get really in tune with yourself, that you start envisioning yourself there. And when you put that manifestation on, everything resonated with this school versus this school, even with their free laptop. You saw that there was more, the school might have been a little bit cheaper, more amenities, even though it didn't give away the free stuff, price tag, everything. And that's when you made a judgment call on your life because you could foresee a plan for yourself. And this school complemented and gave you access to what you would need to elevate to where you want to be. I can't tell you enough, Libra, how important it is to focus on what you want and to see yourself embracing it already. That is a big, big deal. And when you're able to do that, you will open up so many doors for yourself. You will embrace the peace that comes along with it. Get on the path of figuring out who you are and what you want. Because when you set up a plan of action, you follow it all the way through, Libra. You follow it all the way through, even with the roadblocks along the way. Blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being, and that's important. You don't want people saying to you, if it wasn't for me, if it wasn't for me. It doesn't mean that you don't allow people in your life to assist you, but you take pride on ownership of your ideas, the execution of those ideas, and even with the falls and the failings at times, the elevation of it. You want to be able to say, I believed in myself, I stayed true to myself, and I'm elevating. There's certain people that have come in and out of my life that have helped me to recognize certain rewards or gifts that I possess and helped me to develop them. So now I can say, I did this and I did that. You're willing to put the work in. You're not a lazy person. And with your positive soul energy, it shows and it feels like strength, determination, and not mere existence. There's green around you. That means that that's prosperity, that's growth, that's learning. You planted your seeds, now they're coming into fruition. That's beautiful. So, and the thing about you, you accept responsibility. You accept responsibility for things whether they work out or not. You know, like how some bosses or some people will throw something, well, she did this or she did that. No. I made a decision. I thought it was the right decision. Things need to be tweaked a little bit, but I accept full responsibility for making and taking this move. You took control with the chance of knowing it could be 50-50, but you were leaning in more one direction more than the other, and you went with it. It needs a little bit of tweaking, but all is not down. We learn as we travel. At least we should. Forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. And that's what it is. And especially when you're still in trying to figure out who you are and what steps you need to take. You know how scary life can be at times? But when you have faith in what it is that you're aiming for, your whole life will turn around. You have to be loyal to what you're doing. You have to believe in what you're doing. You have to believe in yourself. All those experiences that you have had should give you strength and tenacity to keep going because you've been through humps and bumps in life. You accept responsibility when things don't work out. But because you are growing in power right now, a lot more opportunities and options will come your way. And you have to feel things through. Not everything will work in your favor, but you know what? You're going to make sure you work darn hard to make sure that it does. And sometimes things just fall in line because of your strength, your belief, your loyalty, your dedication, your commitment. your manifestation, your aim, you believing in who you are and what you're working toward. Do you know how much power was just revealed right there? This time in your life, I tell you, it's a process, especially when you have an end game, a goal. You think you're just going to get it like that because you have this idea or you're putting in the hard work? It takes time to develop and process and test to make sure it's going to stand up strong, because you don't want to put something out there that's worthless. You take pride in what you do. You take a lot of pride in what you do. You like to look good. You like to do good. You aim high. And you don't take on too much of the deafening noise that's trying to break you. You kind of silence off and do your own thing. You take time for yourself when it's needed. And you relish in your victories. But I tell you, after every victory, you got to pat yourself on the back. Your soul energy is that of determination. I got to see by Tuesday what numbers are falling in line for different signs, because this, I'm telling you, this is a lot of gaining, prosperity, joy, experiencing growth. And forgiveness is, don't blame yourself or other people. Just keep moving. Forgive yourself for mistakes that you've made. Forgive other people for mistakes that they've made. And figure out what you learned from that mistake. Because you don't start back from the beginning. You just restructure things in a different way. Excuse me. And that is why it is so important for you to stay on track. Ooh, it's like something was trying to choke me. Didn't want me to share that. There's people pulling against you, want to blame you for stuff, and you got to forgive them. That's why it's preparing you for this, because as you continue to climb, there are going to be people that continue to get on your path to tear you down. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of enemies out there right now. I don't know what's going on with people. It's like people are just attacking and attacking. But you're not trying to get into no debate or argument with anyone. You just like, you shut it down, because you got a mouth too. And you can let out some fire, Libra. But you know what? You're in that mode like, why should I worry? Why should it matter what you think if you're not supportive? If I can't ever count on you? If you always have something negative to say? You always want to be what? Devil's advocate? And you feel that this person is constantly aiming at playing devil's advocate in your life. For some reason, they don't ever see anything positive in what you do. And you've come to the point that you're going to forgive them. And you're going to forgive yourself for allowing yourself to always fall in their trap where they're trying to stun on you. Want to, when they see you getting higher up or closer, they start to try to pull at you. That's why forgiveness is necessary for you and for them. Okay? Let me tell you something. I remember that I had to stay by somebody when I was young, And, my mother always would say, to live with me and to know me is two different things. You think you know people, but live with them and see how they change up on you and how things are different, especially when you're in a position of need. And I remember I was struggling at that time. And the person said, I asked if I could stay there, and the person said yes. Right? So I make sure to give money all the time, cleaning up, helping to cook. And I finally saved up enough money to get my own place. And that person became so nasty because they grew accustomed to me being there. And I gave them a heads up that I was working towards getting my own place. I wasn't going to stay with them forever, you know. Plus, I wasn't even staying, they only had one bedroom. I was staying in the living room. So, that's uncomfortable. And I'm thinking, we're cool. Everything is okay. And I started making my money. I'm paying them rent. I'm doing this. But I got my place. And I told them, I said, oh, I signed the papers today and I got my place and everything like that. And they started, well, hurry up and get your stuff out. Or didn't even want to talk to me anymore, got mad, and I didn't understand why. Now, one sense, people say, well, it was because you were a benefit to them and they gonna miss the money you would give and different things like that. And I got a really nice place, and they didn't even want to go to my house my apartment to see it. And it was like, wow, just started acting nasty. And I cleared up any debt with them, everything. But after all these years, and that was like that was probably like in the late 80s or early 90s, right? And now all of a sudden they've reached out to me after we haven't talked since back then. People, you have to forgive people. And Libra, you're in a mode right now where you have some people that don't fit into your life. I see them. They don't fit into your life. And you hold on to them because of maybe what they've done for you in the past, or you've helped them out. And that's great. But not everybody is meant to be in your life for a lifetime. Some people are there for a season and for a short reason. Some people you've been friends with since you were young. Some people feel like a best friend now that you've met them. And you have to know who you pick out of those barrels. Who really fits into your life. Don't hold on to people just to say you got a friend. Do you really? And that's what you have to ask yourself. If people are supportive of you and you're putting the hard work in and you finally get your rewards, why would that person be upset with you? Because a lot of times people talk a good game, but they don't follow through. You're not one of those people. You follow through. So if you say you're going to get something, you're going to get something. And when people see that, sometimes they feel left out, they feel lonely, they feel like you're moving on without them. And it's called growth. And you can't spend your whole time making them feel better because you're growing. You have never done things where you don't share the information. You'll share the information, but they have to put the work in to get through and to get on top of their game. You could do but so much. You still got to take it you and yours. And that's understood. So when people turn like that, were they really your friend? People get jealous. They see you moving on without them. And they can't, you might have to appease them, make them feel better for them to understand that sometimes people grow in different directions. Doesn't mean I'm not your friend. And that's what's happening right now. Let's say that all of you were in a pot where, we're struggling. We're all chipping in together to do things, but everybody knows that everybody wants to be on their own and do their own thing. And then other people start getting up and moving on, and you're holding on with the few at the bottom, and other people are climbing. Don't you have that zest in you to want to climb too? Or are you just sitting there wallowing? Oh, they got ahead. You can't do that. And you don't do that. You keep going. And sometimes there's people that's going to be left behind. But in the case that I had, why would you be upset knowing that I'm bettering myself so I could even follow in your footsteps and get my own place? Because of people and their own self-interest. And if you constantly listen to people and don't listen to yourself by following your intuition and feeling and putting into motion, into action, where you see yourself, then you'll be stuck like them. So when I tell you to block out the noise, to go the distance, it means you can't spend your life trying to appease others and end up lacking yourself. So when you get your stuff together and you want to go back and bring people up, that's fine, but people have to be allowed to put the work in for themselves. You could help guide them along the way. Maybe even give them some places to call to get the experience and the knowledge they need. But I always remember my mother saying to me, she says, you want to help everybody, and that's great. But you got to help yourself first and get to where you need to be to build that stability so that when you help other people out, you're standing on solid ground. You don't want to have wet concrete that won't harden and become stabilized to stand on. You want to wait for it to dry and go through the process so that now you could stand on it. It's stable, it's solid, and you could help other people up. But if your ground is shaky as well, both of you could collapse the whole thing and fall out. When you give and you want to give a $2 here, this or that, and help people depending on what your pocket says, that's fine. But if you can't give the whole caboodle, and then both of you tumble over and then we like, why you brought me here? And you wasn't sure of what you were doing, or you didn't have things in place, or you didn't do that. When people come along with you for the ride, some of them want you to have put all the work in where they have that stability. And you figuring, I'm in my growth process right now. I can't do that until I arrive there. That's why families will say, like, if you come from the islands, they'll tell you that, you know what, I'm going to the U.S. to get stable, to get a place, work, get a stable job, do everything. And then they start sending for their family because they have a place to live, they have employment, they're building. This is your process, you're building. So those who come against you, forgive them. Because you know what? You have to be able to stabilize your setting, your footing, before you try to stabilize someone else's. Okay? It doesn't mean you don't care. It just means that you can't do certain things. So when people get envious or jealous because they see you climbing up and it feels to them like they're losing you, it's not that they're losing you, it's that you're growing. And you tell them, you know what, I'm always here as a friend because I thank you so much for allowing me to stay here with you until I was able to get on my feet. You are appreciated. And make sure you say kind words to them. Whether they want to receive it or not, forgive them and keep moving because you acknowledge them for what they did in your life. Doesn't mean that they have to be part of your life the whole time and you always feeling obligated because of what they did. You let them know how much you appreciate them and you go. But there are people that no matter what you say or do, they have this little envy, this little jealousy, and the wrath will come upon you because of how they personally feel for their own issues, not yours. Loneliness. I know that I am never alone. See? And that's how you look at life. That's how you think about things. And to them, they feel lonely because you're special. And when you leave them, they feel a part of them is missing. And that's where the loneliness. So the anger actions are because of the lonely actions. So a lot of times people get in that mode and they act in a negative manner. Don't let it tear you down because it's not about you, it's about them. Garnetqueentarot saying, stay positive, stay learning about yourself. The most important person to learn about is you because you have one life to live and how you live it is up to you. And you don't want time to run out on you and you didn't express how you really felt. You don't want to be someone that got caught up and never achieved their goals and dreams because you know what? You'll always be in the mindset, I should say, of lacking. Look at what you have, look at what you accomplished, and keep going. Whether you're retired or not, keep going. Don't just sit around like a stuffed animal. Retired or not, get up, travel, do fun things, learn new things, meet new people. Relax and enjoy your here and now. But you know that you're never alone. So, Garnetqueentarot here saying, be inspired to rise, Libras. Tune into yourself. You're the best friend you could ever have. Okay? Your source and you can figure things out together. Pray for what you're seeking. Manifest on what you want and get that feeling in you. And place intentional action behind your thoughts and words that will elevate you to the next level. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much for stopping by on this Sunday to say hello and to share your messages. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Keep smiling just because you can. Take care. Talk soon. Garnetqueentarot, where we are inspired to rise.